Epicurus, 341 BC, 270 BC, was a Greek philosopher and founder of the Epicurean School of philosophy, born at Samos, of Athenian origin. He settled at Athens in his 36th year, and founded a philosophical school there, where he taught a philosophy in opposition to that of the Stoics. Philosophy he defined as an activity which realizes a happy life through ideas and arguments, summing itself up in ethics, which are to teach us how to attain a life of felicity. His system comprised the three branches included in philosophy, viz., logic, physics, and ethics, but he arranges them in reverse order, logic and physics being regarded only as the handmaids of ethics, for he limited logic to the investigation of the criterion of truth, and physics he valued as disillusioning the mind of the superstitious fear that went to disturb happiness. He was a man of a temperate and blameless life, and it is a foul calumny on him to charge him with summing up happiness as mere self-indulgence, though it is true he regarded virtue as having no value in itself, but only in so far as it offered us something, an agreeable life. His major works includes Rerum Natura. His letters to Herodotus, Menocecus and others are also famous for the thoughts they contain. Wisdom and quotes. Justice is a kind of contract not to harm or to be harmed. Principal doctrines. Only the just man enjoys peace of mind. Fragment. The greatest reward of righteousness is peace of mind. Attributed by Clement of Alexandria in Stromata. Don't fear God. Don't worry about death. What is good is easy to get, and what is terrible is easy to endure. Luxurious food and drinks in no way protect you from harm. Wealth beyond what is natural is no more use than an overflowing container. Real value is not generated by theaters and baths, perfumes or ointments, but by philosophy. From the Esplanade Wall at Onoanda, now in Turkey, as recorded by Diogenes of Onoanda. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. Self-sufficiency is the greatest of all wealth. Let no one be slow to seek wisdom when he is young, nor weary in the search of it when he has grown old. For no age is too early or too late for the health of the soul. And to say that the season for studying philosophy has not yet come, or that it is past and gone, is like saying that the season for happiness is not yet, or that it is now no more. From Letter to Menocecus. A happy and eternal being has no trouble himself and brings no trouble upon any other being. Hence he is exempt from movements of anger and partiality, for every such movement implies weakness. Sovereign maxims. It is impossible to live a pleasant life without living wisely and honorably and justly, and it is impossible to live wisely and honorably and justly without living pleasantly. Sovereign maxims. No pleasure is in itself evil, but the things which produce certain pleasures entail annoyances many times greater than the pleasures themselves. Sovereign maxims. The just man is most free from disturbance, while the unjust is full of the utmost disturbance. Sovereign maxims. Of all the means which wisdom acquires to ensure happiness throughout the whole of life, by far the most important is friendship. Sovereign maxims. Of our desires, some are natural and necessary, others are natural but not necessary, and others are neither natural nor necessary, but are due to groundless opinion. Sovereign maxims. Natural justice is a symbol or expression of usefulness to prevent one person from harming or being harmed by another. Sovereign maxims. Justice respects man as living in society, and is the common bond without which no society can subsist. Moderation, in the pursuit of honors or riches, is the only security against disappointment and vexation. A wise man, therefore, will prefer the simplicity of rustic life to the magnificence of courts. Continence is a branch of temperance, which prevents the diseases, infamy, remorse, and punishment, to which those are exposed who indulge themselves in unlawful amours. Temperance is that discreet regulation of the desires and passions, by which we are enabled to enjoy pleasures without suffering any consequent inconvenience. They who maintain such a constant self-command as never to be enticed by the prospect of present indulgence to do that which will be productive of evil, obtain the truest pleasure by declining pleasure. A wise man, who puts himself under the government of reason, will be able to receive an injury with calmness, and to treat the person who committed it with lenity, for he will rank injuries among the casual events of life, and will prudently reflect that he can no more stop the natural current of human passions than he can curb the stormy winds. Sobriety, as opposed to inebriety and gluttony, is of admirable use in teaching men that nature is satisfied with a little, and enabling them to content themselves with simple and frugal fare. Gentleness, as opposed to an irascible temper, greatly contributes to the tranquility and happiness of life, by preserving the mind from perturbation and arming it against the assaults of calumny and malice. There are two kinds of pleasure, one consisting in a state of rest, in which both body and mind are undisturbed by any kind of pain, the other arising from an agreeable agitation of the senses, producing a correspondent emotion in the soul. It is upon the former of these that the enjoyment of life chiefly depends. Happiness may therefore be said to consist in bodily ease and mental tranquility. Since, of desires some are natural and necessary, others natural, but not necessary, and others neither natural nor necessary, but the offspring of false judgment, it must be the office of temperance to gratify the first class, as far as nature requires, to restrain the second within the bounds of moderation, and, as to the third, resolutely to oppose, and, if possible, entirely repress them.